Oh, I forgot how much I hate kombucha, but it's good for you. Gotta take your iron every day. Ah. All right, let's go. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Leeana back at it again. I make YouTube videos every single Sunday regarding different beauty tips and overall beauty styles. So if that is something that you guys are interested in watching and learning more about, feel free to continue watching this video as well as my other videos in the past. I got some of those videos right there for you guys to watch, so definitely go back and watch a couple of them. For today, we are going to debunk some myths that have been going out there in the beauty and makeup community. I really hate it sometimes because a lot of the times this is like a rumor type of situation. It's like one person says it and then that person says it to another person, and then all of a sudden it spreads like wildfire. And then all of a sudden everybody thinks that it's true. And sometimes it can be true in its way, but you got to take it all with a grain of salt. So that being said, I am here to debunk a couple of these famous and popular makeup myths that have been coming out pretty recently. So let's jump right into it. The first one I want to debunk is that for my oily people out there, just like me, I'm oily myself. Somehow people think that oily people cannot use hydrating products. That is 110% false, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. Hydration falls from deep underneath your skin. So you can be oily as hell and still need hydration underneath your skin. I'm oily and I need to stay hydrated too. I'm not an esthetician, so I don't know 100% the science of everything, but most people know that there are 5 layers of your skin. Typically, the oil that builds up in your skin that starts to show and push out through your pores, that typically is from the first and second layer of your skin. Hydration for your skin typically falls deeper in. So regardless of your skin type or texture, you are always going to need hydration for your skin to keep your skin hydrated, healthy, and even plump looking. It's okay to use hydrating products, but you just need to know what is it in the product that makes it hydrating, if that makes sense. If a hydrating product is infused with hyaluronic acid, that is supposed to help retain any moisture that you gain during the day, whether it's from drinking water from within or from outside and it's in the air. It just helps to retain that moisture from deep and sink into your skin. Also, fun fact, hyaluronic acid over time, especially just the serums, actually helps to seal your pores a little bit over time, so it actually helps with oil secretion anyways. So just keep that in mind, guys. Myth number 2 is that concealer is the best way to prime your eyelids. This one irritates me. That is not 100% true, and I'm going to explain why. Concealer has a purpose. It is meant to cover and conceal overall. The way concealer's natural textures are, they are typically more wet and liquidy, and your eyelids, everybody's eyelids on the planet, are naturally going to be more oily. So because of that, oil is not supposed to blend with the concealer, meaning that if this is concealer and this is your eyelid and it starts producing oil, the concealer is not a great base for the oil not to secrete through, which causes the creasing. Using an eyelid primer, I swear it is just so much easier. It takes so much less time. I feel like people take so long to set their eyes with concealers and they have to put powders to lay it down. And I'm like, guys, why do you go through all that when you literally could just use a primer, a clear coated one, use less than a pea size. Whoa, I said that wrong. A pea-sized size, and literally just put it right across your eyelids and you're good for the day. I use the Too Faced 24-Hour Shadow Insurance and the Morphe Eyelid Primer. Those two, they work like magic. It's super duper easy. Just put it right across your eyelids. Don't have to be technical with it. It dries like that and it has a waxy texture. So it's going to make sure that your oil during the day does not push through. Some people are comfortable with concealer though. It works for them. If you want to take all that time just to make sure that the concealer is set in place so that the oil doesn't secrete through, I just think it's a waste of time. It takes a lot longer rather than if you just use a primer what it's intended for. It's gonna be a lot quicker. The next myth I am debunking today is that for some reason people think that lighter concealers are better to use when you are trying to cover up blemishes. And I think this comes from because a lot of people now have been using lighter concealers to help highlight from underneath your eyes and through your nose. But the thing is, lighter concealers, you're using it to highlight those areas of your face. So
common sense would say
using that on a blemish to cover up and using a lighter color than your skin tone, putting it on there to cover up, that's only going to emphasize that area of your face even more. When it comes to breakouts, just use the regular skin tone color of your foundation and just get a concealer in the same color. It's gonna look a lot more natural, and you can still use your lighter, concealer to highlight your face. Another one has been debunked. The next myth is, gotta prepare myself for this one. Color correcting is for some reason the best way and most necessary measure to take whenever you have any uneven skin tones or blemishes. Guys, this is another one that is not necessarily right or wrong, but you just have to take it with a grain of salt. I really think that some beauty influencers, I'm not going to name a few people, I love these people. I'm not talking shade about any of them. I love them. However, I just think that a lot of beauty influencers these days have way overused color correcting when it's not necessary. And so because of that, people think now that if they have any small blemishes at all on their skin, they have to use color corrector. Or any slight redness on your skin, you need color corrector. Not always true, guys. Nobody's skin is 100% perfect. The only real time somebody needs serious color correcting is if you have severe discoloration in your face. If you know your face is extremely red, like more than normal, or you have very severe darkness in your face, then color correcting might be your friend. It might help you out, but even so, you don't need to use a lot. Color corrector is one of those things where a little bit goes a long way, especially because the colors that they have, like green and purple, they are used to be blended with another foundation or concealer. So even so, you don't need to use it all over your face. You can use it just periodically a little bit throughout your face and blend it with your concealer or foundation. And I'm so glad that I'm clearing this one up because I get so many clients that come to me and ask me about color corrector, and I see their faces and I'm like, what are you trying to color correct? Because half of the time they have the smallest blemishes on their face and all of a sudden they think they need color corrector. Point is, overall, not everybody needs color corrector. Just because you have a few dark spots here and there, you do not need color corrector. Next makeup debunk is that baking is necessary for your makeup to last all day. I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. I have only baked once in my entire life. And that is because I was trying it out to see how it works. Baking is one of those things that has been created over time, and I think it is just absolutely, completely, 100% unnecessary, especially when you're using so much under your eyes. And the reason why is because under your eyes already have a lot of texture. So when you're using that on top of a concealer and you're letting it sink and soak into your skin, a lot of people are always wondering why they get so much texture and it looks so crepey under there. And that's exactly why, because you're using a powder and you're letting it sit under your eyes. It doesn't necessarily make a big difference with helping with making sure that your makeup lasts all day. If you want different tips on making your makeup last all day, using a good primer and using a good following setting product, whether you decide to do a powder, a setting spray, or both. Those are going to do much better services to you for setting your face in place rather than waiting for 15 minutes just to chisel out parts of your face and make sure that your face looks highlighted and lighter in some areas and It's just something that's unnecessary. It's become very popular over time, and some people will still do it no matter what, and that's perfectly fine. Everything that I'm saying is more my opinion, but also things that people take very, very seriously. None of this is 100% fact set in stone. There is no makeup rule book. Some people have done baking for so long now that they prefer to do it that way, and that's completely fine. I'm just here to tell you that there are plenty of options besides baking to keep your makeup in place and make sure that you have nice highlight and dimension throughout your face. This next myth is actually kind of interesting, that lower end products like drugstore brands means lower quality. This is not always true. This is another one of those, and like I said, I really think all of these myths that I'm saying all of them are not 100% yes or no true. They just have to all be taken with a grain of salt. Just because you have a drugstore brand, that does not necessarily mean that it's going to be less quality or value than an expensive brand. I have seen some Maybelline products that I would actually way much more prefer over Anastasia. And the thing is, I want you guys to understand what is it that necessarily makes an item lower end or higher end. The only thing that makes them lower end or higher end is what is in the products. So if you guys are in sales or business, most of you guys know that companies have to make profits. So that being said, the more expensive and more fancy things that they're putting in these products, it's going to be more expensive to make it, so they have to make more money off of it, and vice versa. So therefore, everybody's skin is different. So there's an item that could work perfectly well for you that would work very differently for somebody else. So you just have to look at the item and just see if that works best for you, whether it's low end or high end. This one is interesting, that dry skin is harder to work with than oily skin. Unfortunately, this one is actually one that's kind of true. Again, not 100% fact. None of these are fact. This is just a little bit more true. If you have oily skin, there's so many things you can use to help control the oil and seal up your pores so that the oil doesn't secrete through as much. But when you have dry skin, that means you are dehydrated from underneath your skin, like I was talking about the layers of your skin. So it's gonna take a little bit more for you to keep your skin hydrated, but also typically, not all the time, but typically dry skin leaves a lot of times more of a texture on your skin, more flakes and kind of little bumps around your skin. So it's a lot harder to cover up texture than it is to conceal oil. That is the only reason why dry skin might be a little bit harder to work with, but is it manageable? Of course. There is almost no skin type that is like unmanageable that you can't work with. You may have to work a little bit more with it, but everybody's skin is beautiful. You guys can all work with it. This next one I want to debunk is for my non-foundation wearers out there. I have a lot of people that I work with that want to stick with more natural looks, so I help them out with like eyeshadows. But whenever I ask them about foundations, they give me the same reason why they don't want to use it every single time. No, I don't want to use foundation. Foundation is way too heavy. I need my customers and all you viewers out here to listen to me on this one. Not all foundations are the same. It just bugs me so much when people say foundation is just too heavy in general, because there are so many types of foundations out there. And in a way, I think that's another disservice that some beauty gurus do. A lot of times they don't show a lot of more natural looks, and so because of that, people that don't really do makeup too much that watch these videos, they see people with full coverage makeup, kind of like me right now. But anyways, a lot of people see full coverage looks because that's what's more popular nowadays, and people that like it more natural just assume that that's how all foundations look. And they're like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to be full coverage. I don't want to look cakey. I don't want to look like a doll. I don't want to look completely whatever. And that's perfectly fine. That's the beauty of makeup, is that it's so relative. You can go from a more natural and simple look to a full glam to completely transforming your whole entire face. There is endless possibilities. So if you are somebody that does not like wearing foundations, just give it a shot. If you like more natural looks, try a tinted moisturizer. If you want one with more natural coverage, there are plenty of foundations out there that are supposed to dry with a more natural finish. And there are also some that give you a more luminous look to your skin, so it's supposed to make you look a little bit more glowy, which typically looks more natural anyways. I'm telling you guys, there are just so many possibilities out there, and if you don't know how to find the right one for you, just go with somebody that knows a lot about makeup. Go with them and have them help you out. This next one is that multiple brushes are unnecessary. I went makeup shopping with my mom a few months ago, and I was just astonished when she asked me, do I really need all these brushes? Yes and no. If you are somebody that likes more simple, cut to the chase, natural looks, you probably don't need nearly as many brushes, and there are probably a lot of dupes that you can use instead, like a beauty blender that works for a lot of multiple different purposes. But a lot of times people see the intricate makeup looks that people are doing where they use multiple colors and like in your eyeshadows, and they see the depth and dimension that you're building to your eyes, and they see, how do you do that? How do I do that? And a lot of times that is because we are using all these different brushes right here that have different densities in them to help push the color in. Are makeup brushes necessary? Yes. Do you need as many as you think? Yes and no. It all depends on the looks that you're trying to go for. If you want more intricate and defined looks, you're probably going to have to start investing in a couple of brushes. However, there are a lot of options of brushes. You don't have to get the super expensive bougie brushes. You can always get some Morphe brushes that are very inexpensive but work very well. And the last one I am here to debunk is that primers are unnecessary. I personally don't know how people go without primer. The primary reason for using primer is, like I was talking about with the concealer earlier, primer is meant to put a blocker and barrier in between your skin and the makeup. So whether you have oily, dry skin, whatever it is, there are so many primers out there that they use with different ingredients to help, no matter what your skin type is, to make sure that it doesn't affect the makeup on the other side. Also, because of that barrier, it helps to make sure that the makeup is not sinking into your skin and building up more dirt over time. Oily skin fellas out there. Typically, if you're oily, that means you have more open pores. So that being said, it's a lot easier for makeup and dirt and so to sink into those pores. So especially if you got oily skin, I really recommend having that primer. Primer is just a great way to put a barrier in between your skin and the makeup, just to help make sure that your skin isn't interfering with the makeup, and also so that the makeup isn't interfering with your skin as well. Some people don't use primer, and that's fine. If you have a great skincare regimen, that can work as well. I just think it's a really big help. So I just don't see why not use it if it helps. Alright you guys, that is it for my makeup debunking today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure that you give it a nice thumbs up on this channel. We call them thumbs up. And also like and subscribe to my channel, as well as hitting the bell next to the subscribe button so that you guys can get notified every time I post a new video. For more frequent updates on everything going on in the beauty world, at least in my beauty world, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Rylee Beauty Styles. I'm going to put it right here for you on the screen, as well as down below. I gotta head to work because I'm so late now, but it's okay. It was worth it because I'm glad that I get to share this with you guys. I love doing this. So again, make sure you guys give it a nice thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment, watch, share, everything. And I will see you guys later. Adios. Did I just say oil? Through. Okay, I really didn't word that right. Need to realize oh God. What the hell is that? Okay, I'm gonna take all that out. I just cut out a chunk of my video. There is a bird chilling on top of my roof right now, and it's so effing loud.